My pleasure.
So you know the facts that we know at this point, that it appears that 3 individuals from the State Department, contract employees, improperly accessed the passport application data, the passport records of Barack Obama. What happens now legally?
Well, as Eric said earlier, and hello to my very good friend Eric Holder, the bottom line is there should be an investigation conducted by the Inspector General. In fact, there may have already been one. If this was discovered in January, as I understand it, I cannot imagine that there has not already been an investigation by the Inspector General. If there hasn't been, I would want to know why not.
They've just told us, actually, Joe, that they've just said on their conference call the Inspector General will do that.
But I want to know why he hasn't done it already. If these people were I understand the breach occurred in January and was discovered in January. Is that not correct?
Yeah, I mean, that's my understanding.
Well, I'd like to know what happened in the last several months.
Yep. Well,
because there isn't. By the way, even just looking at the files is a violation of the Privacy Act. They don't have to be disseminated. If someone looks at a file without the authority and purpose, need to know to do so, that is an invasion of privacy at that point. You have to have a legitimate purpose for accessing these files. If they did it out of prurient interest, that in and of itself is potentially a criminal violation. If there was dissemination, that would make it worse. Now, of course, the Privacy Act is only a misdemeanor, but it's certainly a firing offense. If these people have been fired, by the way, they can't be interviewed by the IG anymore.
Explain that to us, because
they're not government employees anymore. The IG doesn't have any authority over them.
Because 2 of the State Department employees have apparently been fired, a 3rd disciplined.
Well, if they've been fired, the IG can want to talk to them all he wants to, but he doesn't have the legal authority to talk to them. Presumably, these people were interviewed before they were fired. I cannot imagine that they would not have been interviewed and given statements. If they weren't, that would be monumental incompetence.
All right, I'm now getting some more information from Sean McCormack, the spokesperson for the State Department, trying to provide more information about exactly what happened and how it happened in this really somewhat stunning development from the State Department with regard to individuals there improperly accessing the passport records of Senator Barack Obama. McCormack saying it was 3 separate employees in different locations. Each case, they say they immediately contacted the employer who disciplined them. They were immediately terminated. Those are with regard to the 2. In the 3rd case, the employee was disciplined but remains with the contractor. No reason to believe they did anything to the files. They say they're investigating. They say they briefed Senator Obama's office on this issue this afternoon. That's when senior management at the State Department first became aware. We're looking at the issue if there's anything more as to why they did it other than the inappropriate curiosity. They'll be asking the Inspector General of the State Department to conduct a review. But the problem, Joe DiGenova, with that is the senior management at the State Department is first becoming aware of this afternoon?
I find that incomprehensible. I cannot imagine that someone, if this has been maintained at the lower levels of the department, the people at the lower levels of the department who kept it down there need to be disciplined. This is incomprehensible to me in the modern era.
Is Andrea Mitchell with us? Because Andrea, you with us? Oh, she's not ready yet. Okay, as she gets ready, because the issue that I think is very important here is the timing, as Joe DiGenova has just laid it out.
Mind-boggling.
Yeah, I mean, the question of what did they know and when did they know it? I mean, we ask this in just about every investigation and big case, but here it is absolutely crucial to know. We're talking about breaches in January the 9th, February the 21st, and March the 14th, and now, only moments ago, the spokesperson for the State Department saying there that the senior management at the State Department first became aware of it, it would appear from these notes, this afternoon. Now, the Washington Times reporting that Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice was notified of the breach yesterday, but regardless, yesterday, this afternoon, we're talking about these trips. And again, Joe, there are these specific monitoring systems that are in place specifically to prevent something like this from happening and to notify officials if someone like a low-level contractor is snooping in someone like Barack Obama's files.
Yes, after my investigation back in the 90s, the Department of State instituted technical monitoring systems so that they could detect when someone was improperly accessing files. And apparently that system worked in terms of detecting the initial violations. What apparently didn't happen was after that, there was no chain of command communication to higher authority. And whether they were protecting themselves, that is, the middle managers were protecting themselves and didn't push the information up, will have to be investigated.